What's up and welcome to the channel. My name is Hegshot. Thank you for joining me today as we are doing a review on the JX Tactical Fat Guy Holster. Now this works for me in name and in comfort and features all the way around. So this really works for me and it may work for you too, man. There's a ton of adjustability here. I call this the maximum adjustable inside the waistband holster because it's not just for us fat guys, but it has some unique features that accommodate maybe chubbier guys or whoever you are. There's a ton going on with this holster that makes it pretty unique, like I said. And you have three different clip options I'm going to show you as well. You have the soft loops, the ulti clip, and the 1.5 inch clip. So I'm going to show you how it conceals, any pros and cons that I may see, and we'll talk about those clips and I'll show you how they work and all that good stuff. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, here is the JX Tactical Fat Guy Holster. And this is designed, the reason they name it the Fat Guy Holster is because those of us with extra love weight and handles around the midsection, carrying appendix can be a true pain. So what they've designed here is something that will ride lower in your pants, that will allow, you know, the gun to be more comfortable and sit lower so it doesn't, you know, bump up against your love weight there. So that's essentially the idea. So you see holes that are drilled in and throughout the holster itself, up and down this channel here, and then you have 3 sets of holes right here, okay? So maximum adjustability with the different clip options. And this may be something that you have to try, but essentially they sent me all 3 clip options that they offer. They're a little bit of extra money, but if it's something you want to try, you can absolutely, you know, add those things on. This right here is their standard clip. It's pretty basic. This is kind of what, you know, most Kydex holsters are going to come with. And I believe that theirs actually come with the soft loops already installed, which this is a great option. These things are super durable, they're tough, and they actually hold on really well. It just takes one little extra step of getting these below your belt so you can then come up and snap these. These are really easy to pull off. They have a little dot right there and it basically says pull the dot. You pull from the dot, pull that down, they snap right off. To get them on, you kind of start at an angle and then you push it on, and that's it. So you have the soft loops there. You have the standard 1.5 inch clip right here, which can be adjusted for cant, it can be adjusted for ride height and all of that. And then also you have the ulti clip. Now I've never used one of these until now, but this is designed to work without any kind of belt. So gym shorts or leggings or whatever and whoever you are, if you don't like wearing a belt, this is actually a pretty incredible option. Like I said, I've never used one until now, but it's got this little hook right here that hooks onto your pants, and then this snaps that down so it will really hug onto whatever kind of material you're trying to get it to hug onto. And with all of my force, with all of my exaggerated draws, I could not get this holster to actually come loose and come out of my pants. So a pretty incredible thing, man. And they also have a tuckable version of this. They have several different styles of this ulti clip. If you're, you know, exercising or whatever you do and you don't want to wear a belt, they have that option as well. So these top 3 holes right here are really going to be used for your soft loops or for your 1.5 inch clip right there. The holes in the middle right here are going to be used for the ulti clip, and then of course some of the top holes may or may not be used for the ulti clip depending on where you actually want this thing to sit. But remember, the lower you go, the higher the top of the gun is actually going to ride. Personally, man, when I put even the soft loops up here or the 1.5 inch clip up here, it just sits way too low where I can't really get a good draw out of my pants. So somewhere in the middle or maybe even this lower hole I think would be the best option. Honestly, I think it rides a little bit too high with the 1.5 inch clip all the way down, so I think this needs to come up a little bit. And same with the soft loops. It rides too low when it's all the way up and it rides too high all the way down. So again, that middle option for me personally, I think is the sweet spot there. If we take a look around the holster, all of the edges are buffed out so you don't have any issues there. You have a high sight channel. Most of the retention, pretty much all the retention, is where you want it to be. This is something I gripe on, I harp on with holster manufacturers, is the retention has to be in the trigger guard, right? And it is right here. It's got a good solid lockup. Boom, just like that. If you want to adjust that, you have adjustable retention right there. They've cut out areas that are unnecessary. you know, and I've seen holsters, and this isn't pointing at any specific manufacturer, but I don't like a lot of extra material, man. It's the reason that I don't wear a lot of these holsters, and I'm very picky when it comes to this, because I like a minimal profile holster, and this is what these guys have accomplished here as well. Very minimal. It's open down here, so dust and dirt and things like that can, you know, a lot of that stuff can fall through. You're still going to get some of that. It just kind of is what it is. But you have that as well. All of their options, according to their website, or most of their options, I guess, come standard with the RMR cuts already there. So you have this little bit of a gap right here, which will allow your red dots and stuff to be accommodated with this holster. One thing I do like that they do too is they do a high sweat shield right here, so it keeps the gun off your body. I prefer that on Kydex holsters than ones that are kind of cut lower or low sweat shield. I like this higher sweat shield personally. The magazine release is exposed right there. I've talked about this a lot in the past too, and this is something I like because whenever I go to load the gun up, it's loaded, I can holster, then I can release this, top off my mag, and put the magazine back in the bottom of the gun, and the whole time the gun is actually holstered. So Mrs. Hegshot just brought up a pretty good point here, and with the exposed magazine release, she actually watched a video where a criminal was trying to pull the gun out of a cop's holster. Well, he was able to get the magazine out of the gun before the guy was able to get the gun out of the holster. Now, I assume that gun wasn't chambered maybe or something, because you still, even most modern guns, you're going to be able to fire without the magazine. So if you're on a loaded chamber and somebody's able to pull your gun, even if you get the magazine out, they're going to have one shot at you. But again, it is a different scenario. I just prefer that all the way around, man. There's multitude of scenarios where this is beneficial. For me personally, I'm able to top off my gun. It's safer that way, and I prefer that. This does have a little bit of a guard over the top of the magazine release here, so it's not so accessible, but it's accessible enough where I can get to it, no problem there. So that's something definitely prefer. All right, so I did mention that this thing has adjustable cant, and I wanted to show you that as well. By the way, all their holsters are made in the USA, which is always nice to hear. So adjustable cant, you can kind of do it here if you loosen up your screws. You can move this side to side, but you're not going to get a lot of adjustability there, right? But where you can get a good amount of cant adjustment here is you can unscrew these. So just like that, now you've added quite a bit of degrees there, so you can cant this forward. We could do this the opposite way, and I could drop this lower, move this one up to move it backwards a little bit. So it's nice that you have all of this adjustability, and it's not just for this clip. I could do one loop. Let's say I wanted to do this loop down here, and I wanted to do this loop up here. I could do that as well and have the same adjustability and cant there. So it's a pretty neat design, and with all these holes gives you a ton of adjustability you otherwise wouldn't have. So you have the little recessed part right here, the female part of this. When you go to put your hardware in on the holster, the easiest way to do this is just put this on your fingertip and then just slide your finger in there, and then you can get this up into the hole, whichever hole you actually want that to be in, just like that. And on this clip and on the soft loops as well, they use an outer nut with a hole drilled through it, and then the screw, and then that screw goes into, obviously, this piece right here. With the ulti clip, they actually use a bushing, which basically takes place of the nut on this one, and they use that bushing to then seal into the same type of setup, the same type of female setup, just like that, okay? This one right here, again, once you get this set, if you set it in one of these holes here, you have a little bit of adjustability in right height there as well. One minor thing that I want to touch on here is aesthetically, with all of the holes, you're going to have some unused holes. Aesthetically, it's not the most pleasing thing to look at. Like I said, you're just going to have holes that are uncovered. And you have to have those holes to have all of this adjustability, to be able to use the ulti clip, soft loops, this, adjustable cant, all of this. You're going to have some unsightly holes there. It's a minor thing. It's going to be in your pants anyways. Doesn't really matter. It's just one minor thing I wanted to point out there. It is what it is. The fat guy part of this works really well too. The only thing you want to consider is the smaller the gun and the smaller the grip specifically, the lower you move this in your pants, the harder it might be to actually draw out of a holster. So you want to keep that in mind. So one issue that you may run into because of the grip on this one, it's actually stopping the downwards progression of this clip just enough where I can't really get a good bite on my belt with this particular clip. So in this case, we need to switch to the soft loops. So this is where these soft loops will come in handy, because now I got it buckled in, the grip is not interfering with that 1.5-inch clip, and I can get it out without worrying about the holster coming out at the same time. So even though you can ride it this low, this isn't something I would do. I would use that middle position. I think that's the sweet spot for me personally. I just don't like having, for me, the draw to get to it when it's this low. Just not a fan. Again, that's why you have all that adjustability, because you may personally like it this low in your pants. It just depends on who you are and how you like to carry. So I like this clip too, by the way. It's got some tension on it and it's a little bit tough. You got to kind of push it down to get it over your pants, but once you do, this thing ain't going nowhere. I mean, this is a really, and they got this finger tab right here so you can pull it away and actually get it onto your belt. This clip right here is actually super solid. I like the soft loops as well. The ulti clip isn't something I would use a whole lot because I prefer having a belt on, especially when I'm carrying my gun, because I want the belt to hold up the weight of the gun. But if you need that, that's there. So overall, the JX Tactical Fat Guy holster, I think, offers a lot for a lot of different body types. And I'm going to leave a link down below if you want to check this out for yourself and get one for yourself. You can absolutely do that, man. Big thanks to these guys again for sending this one out. I will see y'all in the next one. And as always, hold 'em down.